Okay. All right, I've received the word from our technician that we are now live and broadcasting, and I will open the meeting. Welcome, everyone. Glad to see you again. This is the Monday, February 2nd meeting of the Charter Review Committee. I note that we have a quorum of 5 of our 5 people are present. The meeting is now called to order and then open. And the first item on the agenda is to amend, accept, or approve the meeting minutes of Monday, January 12th. That's something we can do if everybody's comfortable doing with it, or if you need some more time to look at it, we can put that to the end of the meeting, or we can do it next meeting, whatever that may be. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Megan, how do you feel?
I haven't actually looked at the minutes. I didn't have a chance to yet.
Okay, understood.
So I don't have much to say or on approving it.
Okay. Paul, you obviously know him, so you'd be ready. Chuck, what do you think? Want to go or put it for later or put it for next meeting, rather?
We can put it for later, right? Or
Okay.
if to give Megan a chance. I mean, it would take like 2 minutes, right? If you want to pause and let Megan look over them now.
Okay, so with all of those in favor, I'll move it to the bottom of the meeting, and we'll see what happens, what time we have at the end. If Megan has time to read it, or, anybody else wants to go to the next week, I don't have any feelings one way or the other. At this point in time, I'll just move to item 3 then. It says requests for comments, remarks, or updates from anybody present. As always, I'll look to the town administrator, whose nickname I've learned recently and will be using at appropriate times.
Thank you. No comment at this time.
Okay. Chuck, anything from you that you'd like to bring up as a new business or comment?
Oh, no comment. It'll come up as we go through agenda items.
Mr. Vice Chair Gary?
Nope. Cool.
No? Paul?
All good to start.
Megan, anything to bring up?
Nope.
Okay. I have a couple of quick matters, and then we can get into the wherever we stand after the quick matters are presented. I had put down something about discussion item 1, proposed newsletter. I use the word newsletter. It can be whatever we want it to be. But in conjunction with that, I did pass out, and it's not something that we have to discuss today because it is something that has a few more pages, or at least a page, and it will take some time to read. But basically, I gave you all a copy of a document that basically is entitled a little bit more of an explanation of the first pass where we're at. And without getting into it today, because I think it should probably take some time for you to read it on, outside of the meeting and then get a look at it. But the whole idea of the first pass is to get a document out there in pieces, because I don't think we have the luxury of waiting to getting a whole, proposed first pass draft proposed charter for the town of Paxton without having the opportunity with giving the townspeople, the public, and the select board too, is I'm sure dying to hear what we're working on, an opportunity. So the whole idea of the first pass is to go through these different proposed articles and discussions to come up with a review article that we approve of and that we can then publish out there to give those people some of the meat that they've been looking for. And then they can turn around and give us any comments, and then ultimately will become our second pass that we incorporate that feedback back to us. So we'll leave that for other. But so the newsletter at some point in time, that we'll talk about more at another meeting will be related to the fact that we want to get the public aware of, and this will be their first invitation, to the fact that we're going to be sending some documents out that we put out on some sort of a internet server where we can talk to the town clerk and the town administrator about exactly how to put that out there. But we'll get that out there for them to review and at their leisure. And then, that will be the basis of what we'll be using to make modifications to the first pass articles that we are presenting. There also will have a process for how we'll do that, and we will get into detailed discussion of that memo next week, or again, next meeting, whenever that may be. Having said that, I'll move on to the next item.
Can I comment on the first pass? Because I have a lot of concerns.
Okay, please.
About that, because I think Gary intimated this too, is that if we start asking for feedback now, it's really going to slow down the process. And it's not, like what we're doing now, a lot of the stuff we're going to go back to and look at again as a whole. And I would prefer, I think we should wait and have a solid draft that we all agree with in whole, because I think some of this is going to evolve as we move through it. Okay. So rather than asking people to comment on something that's still relatively rough in some ways, I think we should wait. And if also it's a matter of time. If we ask for comments now, we have to set up a structure to take those comments, we have to review those comments, we have to incorporate those comments. And I really think we just need to keep pushing forward to get through a workable draft.
Okay. And again, we're entering into discussions that I thought would be better, give everybody time to read and think about it. But I take note of that, and I think that's something that we should plan on discussing at a little bit more length. I hear what you're saying. I'll hear it again when you say it. But if we could all do this together, as something that again, I just pass this out to give us as a starting point. I'm not saying or edicting or anything like that that's what we're going to do. I'm just looking to say, here's a proposal, let's talk about it.
But I'm concerned because it seems like you've already reached out to Town Hall to put that in motion.
To find out how we can do it and if we can do it,
right.
and what some of the issues were. Yeah, I reached out to Town Hall and found out, and I've talked to the town administrator about how about doing it, but we're not, and we're in essence, what are we going to send them? We're going to send them first pass, we're going to send what we review. Those are all things we have to discuss, and we'll discuss at our next meeting, if that's okay with everybody. Fair enough?
But I would ask that you pause on reaching out to Town Hall and sending them first pass documents.
Okay.
I don't think we're there yet.
We don't have any first pass documents at this point.
You emailed some to Town Hall.
Those were not first pass documents. When you read the memorandum, you'll see that first pass documents are something different.
I thought I saw an email where you emailed Town
You
Hall.
did.
And said,
That
"These are
was to
first
see
pass
how that
documents.
was to-
We want to put these on the website."
What the town hall has is documents to see if they would qualify or how they would be if they were in a position ready to be approached, right? Okay, that's the kind of thing that we're going to be talking about at the next meeting. Those are not documents that are intended to be publicized at this point. Nothing there says, that the other be,
Well, this is what you sent to Town Hall.
They were not,
Gary,
we did not post
Chuck,
them.
Right.
I know what I sent. It's not first pass. We're going to have a conversation about first pass. That's what was sent for the purposes of seeing and exhibiting to Laurie, this is the type of thing that we'll be sending her. I didn't have anything to send her but item 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
There were attachments. Right?
Yes, they're right there, listed right there.
Right. Okay.
But they weren't, I didn't ask her to post them. I asked her to show her this is the type of thing that we're hoping to post.
So then I missed out on that conversation. So it sounds like you had a conversation with her.
Yes, I did.
Then you sent an email that you CC'd us on. And I took that email at face value. I
Okay,
didn't
well,
realize there
and
were
then
other
maybe
conversations.
that's true, but what I'm saying to you right now is that what I just handed to you, okay, is the document that talks about first pass, the discussion, when I have the idea of how we're going to do it, and that's what I want to discuss. If you want to take the time to read it all and we want to have a discussion today, I don't think it's appropriate at this point because I just handed it out and sent it out today. But I'm hoping that we can have that discussion next meeting, and we'll come to a conclusion.
Okay.
Which may or may not, depending upon the results of that discussion, reflect 100% of what you said, or 50% of what you said, or whatever. At this point in time, if we have a first pass, a second pass, or a third pass, that's what's in the proposed C. All right? As to your point about, we're talking about a time backup here. Okay, so we can talk about whether or not it's appropriate or not appropriate to have the first pass documents published at this point, or wait till we get through all of these documents. I note that and one of the things I handed out today that we can chat about is a document that changes. We had about 14 different articles. I've weaned it down to 9. If you look at the proposal. And the reason I've done that is because for all kinds of reasons, we are running up against time if we're going to be putting this out. All right, so that's all part of the consideration that we'll all have. Not talking about discussing it now, but we are definitely talking about discussing it, okay? Believe me, your opinion and everybody's opinion counts. And there's nothing more that I want more than to hear what everybody have to say. I'm just throwing proposals out there for you guys to see, will it stick to the wall or not? Fair enough?
Fair enough. And I would ask that those proposals stay in our group until we agree to move forward on them.
Well, yeah, they'll be at our meeting.
Okay.
So I need a clarification.
Please.
So as we go through each of the articles, I think we talked about in terms of appropriate public record that we have to send, along with the minutes, the article that we've worked on and made changes to. That's going to be attached so everyone can see what we're doing.
Technically, it's the document that we're taught before we start discussing it. This is a document that I will get some clarification, but my understanding from my initial conversations and review of the open meeting law is that any documents that are used in the discussion, that's document that's used, not changes, it's documents that are used in the discussion that are presented for discussion, those documents should be attached to the minutes.
So if there's any changes that we make,
Those will be opened in the meeting, but they don't necessarily, and that's in the document about whether or not.
okay. So that's what I assumed was the first pass, was the stuff that we've worked on, that we've corrected, and that we were going to publish to the community. So if that's not being done right this moment, only the initial draft, not counting our changes, then I'm okay with putting on hold. But I just assumed, maybe wrongfully, that the first pass was our corrections and for others to comment on that.
Well, the first pass will be ours with our reviewed, but when that goes out to everybody,
Okay.
depends upon if we're going to wait till we have all 9 or 14 or whatever articles are, or if we're going to do it piecemeal.
Okay.
That is a question that we haven't decided, or
Okay.
we haven't decided. It's not it's my suggestion. I suggested we do it, up front, sooner than later, but if you want to think,
I mean, it's a good idea. I think when we do our second revision round after we review and we post what the approved by our group, for transparency, we can say these are a working draft, but this is where we feel it's in a good place. And I don't think we need to solicit feedback just yet, but just they can start to review and be aware, and because you're worried about that too, I think. One big question though is,
please.
I noticed you put Article 13 enforcement, but I didn't have that anywhere.
That's the one we talked about, the whole idea that somebody who was aggrieved could write a complaint letter and then.
Oh. Okay. Okay. It wasn't on this one either.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Then that's for something else that will.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, got
You may have recalled that I put it as a outside section.
it. Okay.
So it was the wording I used for that.
Okay.
With that being,
Like in November.
I'm sorry, Paul?
It was in November when we were discussing that
Yeah.
section.
Okay.
Yeah, it's marked up, right? We made changes to it.
I will tell you that and again, and I apologize for any, I was kind of gung-ho on the idea of getting this information out there piecemeal, only because I've had a number of people talk to me and bring up the point that, hey, you told us you were going to give us something, where is it? And when I tell them, look at the meeting there, that kind of becomes like that's nothing but an escape, So the idea of getting documentation out there to people, a lot of people have come and said, well, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? Well, we're discussing it. That's what we're doing. Whether or not we just continue to say, watch it on the TV, it's out there, or if we say there are some documents out there, that's to be determined. All right? And I appreciate everything that you just said, and we will definitely spend time on that next meeting.
Paul had a comment.
Paul?
No, I just wanted to, are we having this discussion now, or are we doing it next week? 'Cause
Next
it's
week.
like we're still talking about it, but, so
Well-
I'll hold my comments to next week. Are
Yeah.
we moving on now, or are we going to?
Well, we're just going to make sure that everybody understands that we're going to do it next week unless, I mean, we can
Well,
drop everything and do it now if you want, but,
I'll hold mine until next week. I'm not facilitating, so I do have comments and feedback about it, but I'll save them for next week if
okay.
that's when the
I mean,
discussion is.
And Megan, who has just got the piece of paper, that okay with you?
That's fine with me.
Next meeting, okay. Which brings us to the next question. What about our next meeting? What, if any, I'd like to do this so that we can hold at least 2 more meetings possibly, but we do have a holiday in the calendar as well. Does anybody have any proposal or suggestion about when we can have our very next meeting?
So the Monday evenings generally work, for me at least. The 5:45 for an hour or an hour and 15 minutes till 7. I know that we can't do it on President's Day, but I think the 9th and the 16th and the 23rd work.
Yeah,
So
23rd would just be a select board meeting.
so we still have time to do it before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
prior to it. It just couldn't be an hour and a half. Then.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of Mondays, normally speaking, the select board isn't meeting here. That's the one the Monday can give us a longer meeting than the 1 hour. But, so the next possible Monday that we could do is what date, please? I don't have a.
1 week from today would be the 9th,
The
right?
9th.
Okay. Do we want to do and can we do as,
There's a select board meeting, but it will be at 7 o'clock.
all right. So the 9th we can do from 5:45 till 6:45?
Yep.
All right. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Paul?
I'm driving back from Canada on Monday. I should be here, assuming whether everything's good, but I should be good.
That and whether or not you can get back into the country.
Hopefully the border's functioning and everything's good, but
All right.
fingers crossed.
Okay, so we'll book, at this point, 5:45 to 6:45 on the 9th. I'll send a confirmatory memorandum or request to the chief, but I think our administrator has some power, and he's wrote it.
Already on there. Yep.
What's the next meeting possibility for beyond the 9th? The next meeting after the 9th, the next Monday after the 9th is a,
23rd?
Yeah, the
that's-
16th is President's Day, and the 23rd would be the next Monday. Is that open?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is the 23rd open?
Same thing, select board at 7.
So we can go 5:45 to 6:45?
Yep.
Now, we can't do Mondays or Tuesdays or Thursdays, because those dates are reserved for the police department training and the fire department training.
Fire department has it every Tuesday night, and then CIPC right now is having a lot of their meetings on Thursdays.
All right. So are there any other dates possibly available that we might consider for us to have another meeting, a longer meeting, or?
I think if we can get 2 productive meetings for the balance of this month, I think that's a good thing for us.
Okay.
Right.
So too.
Okay, so we'll go with the 5:45 to 6:45 on the 9th and the 23rd.
That gives us 3 in February.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay?
And today is Groundhog Day, right? So we can come this day every single day, and it'll be the same day. So we'll
Does that
get a
mean
lot
we're
of
always
stuff
going to be
done.
on the same
We'll get a lot of stuff done.
article? Same article? We're never
No, you go on next one.
This meeting's already feel like Groundhog Day.
It does feel like we've talked about some articles forever.
It's okay, today's a new day.
Okay, so just for everybody's iteration and all you, the public demanding to see us, you can tune in at 5:45 on the 9th and 5:45 on the 23rd, and we will entertain you for about an hour. Any other questions on that issue? Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. And that will be to resume negotiations on the article relating to municipal elections.
There is a comment, though, about the quorum that we have, which caused some conversation between us, I think.
Oh, is that something we want to do now?
I
or-
think we want to resolve that for our next meeting, so that way we all know what we're doing.
That's a good point.
So the question is on the agenda as, do we have a meeting with less than 5 but still have a quorum? For the short history that we've had, we've tried to have everyone present just because we're a small group, there's a lot going on, and we all have our opinions as to what matters now. Conversely, we have a lot of stuff that we have to get done, and not everyone can make the schedule. So I think it's worth at least a conversation as to how we want to move forward. I've gone back and forth because I respect everybody here and I respect their opinions, but if there's 4 and not 5, does that mean that we should lose an entire another week or two, depending upon how, the whole thing? So I'm caught between the best thing to do.
Okay, it is on the discussion list. I cringe with it because, I mean, what happened last time is, unfortunately, we ended up with having only one meeting when we had hoped to have 2 or 3. But that happens, and it's going to happen because of schedule things. It's going to happen because of things that happen. It might be happen because of weather and whatever. We have been very fortunate, and my personal preference is that we don't meet at all unless we have all of us, because any other mechanism of having your opinion heard after we've had 4 people talk about it is not quite the same as having, the gusto of in live, in purpose. So that's my preference. However, Gary has articulated, and very much better than I've articulated, the fact that, sometimes we might get through something with 4 people instead of having 5 people. We talked a little bit as email, and keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with sending email saying, this is my thoughts on the matter. We're not deliberating or discussing it, but you're putting your information up there so other people can, bandy it about in their mind and whatever. What do you say? Megan, what do you think?
It's a tricky one, because I totally know what you mean. I prefer 5, because we are small, and I think when we have the dialogue, it's better. But at the same time, I mean, I'm already looking at March going, oh my God, there's a couple I may not be able to do, and I don't want to hold anyone up. So I could easily say that if you can't be there and you're pretty solid on your opinion, and you could send to the group a couple bulleted edits for consideration, that's great. But if I read one of these, say Article 4, and I'm like, ooh, I can't be there, but I really have some strong opinions, we may not be able to hold that meeting.
So on a case-by-case...
I don't know if that helps at all, but...
Okay, so on a case-by-case basis, would that be... Like, for instance, if, Paul mentioned that on one of these meetings, he's coming back from Canada. Well, if we find ourselves here and Paul's not able to come due to weather or whatever circumstance we might have to move to another title if Paul's, tells us, hey, listen, I really want to be there, I want to be heard. An email message isn't going to do it, so that's fine. And I don't have any problem if we're sitting here with 4 people and we can move on, I don't know, do something or at least decide. I mean, we'll always have stuff on the agenda that we can do. Is that a fair answer to the question? Paul, your mind?
I just think of the amount of work that we still have remaining in front of us and the limited amount of time to do it. I see our current workload, our pace of, getting through less than one article per meeting. So even if you miss one meeting, you might not miss all the discussion about that article because it will take, hopefully we can speed up our pace, but absent something changing, this is our pace. And so again, I think there's ample opportunity if you miss one meeting to provide it at the next one. We'll also talk about our review process, and we're talking about this being a first pass, or, there's going to be a second pass and a third pass. And so again, there's other opportunities to provide that feedback other than just in that one live moment. And I do think you can, if you do feel passionate about what's coming up, send out your comments to the group ahead of time, just so they're represented and your opinions known when it's being discussed, and it can be reflected by, in the discussion. So I obviously love to hear everyone and would love to be a part of every discussion, but just from a practical standpoint, I think we got to be able to meet without a full group.
Chuck, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I agree with Paul. I'm good either way. If people feel strongly, we all need to be here, but I'm also fine with 4. It is the first time through, so there's other time for people to weigh in. We can also, the next meeting, if somebody feels strongly, they miss a meeting, the next meeting, they can say, hey, can we take a look at this quickly again? I have some thoughts. I think there's room for us to move forward.
Gary, you started it off, you kind of, would you think that if we plan on discussing it, and if somebody isn't available, they can contribute, and obviously we'll hear them at the next meeting? Is that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Time is our enemy, but I think that we've got to be practical about it as well. My only reservation is, and I'm not trying to put someone above it all, but if you're not here and you drafted the document,
Right.
I think we have to pause.
That's a good point. We could also try it, and if this doesn't work, then we know we can't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess at this point in time, if everybody's ready, to be technical, we have to vote on these kind of things. Do you want to have a motion to vote to say that we will have a meeting as long as we have a quorum present, whether or not we're all present or not? Or do we want to, subject to the idea that somebody can if they're not going to, they know they're not going to be here for whatever reason, they can submit something in writing that we won't deliberate, but we'll deliberate on the meeting, and then I thought you guys would be happy to have me not here sometime.
I think if we have a quorum in general, then we still have the meeting, and then we just allow for the opportunity for conversation to exist on those items in the following agenda.
Okay. Can I have a motion on that somehow?
Do we need a
addressing that?
motion? Because we're well within our right. Like, we can choose either way. We don't, it doesn't mean we have to vote on it.
Yeah,
as long as we have a quorum, we're.
Well, just for the purposes of making sure that we have this detailed, so if we have a vote, Paul will record it, and we'll be able to say this is exactly what happened, because I don't.
So the motion then is, I make a motion that we proceed to hold our meeting if 4 are present.
Right. And then deal with whether or
And then
not.
reevaluate if that doesn't work.
Good. I second that. Anybody in favor?
So I need a comment, though. If in fact that Dave is not here.
Oh, unless Dave is not
I
here.
think we need to
Correct.
pause that.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Let's add that to
With
it.
that as a caveat, then I'm in favor of that.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Okay, it carries. I will tell you that one of the things I'm going to suggest is that some of you guys, and we'll see that when we discuss next week, is to ask you guys to contribute, not necessarily a final draft, but at least a starting point. And I will do that as we get into the next table of contents. Okay, that being said, we have gone through items 1 through 6, and I believe at this point we are now ready to resume deliberations under the leadership of Paul Bertler on the proposed Charter Article 3 relating to town meeting.
Okay. Chuck, you have our working
Yes.
draft up in front of us, and I'm checking the notes, and I believe we left off around 3.5. And we were drafts. We had just brought in, I think, some language from the previous version that Dave had sent on I'm sorry.
So if I may just ask.
Yep.
I thought that when we last left, there was a comment that we asked the town administrator to look at about the secret ballots and voting.
Yeah.
You're going to check out the appropriateness of what we have now, and is that true?
Yes,
My
that we
memory-
are prepared in the case that like the clickers don't work and stuff like that, so we are okay.
Okay,
You're not out of line with what you had in there.
okay.
We're okay to follow the law, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Thank you.
And so that was related to voting methods, and moderator power discussion. And that's, I think, was the last thing, and then we just, again, got sidetracked about the different versions. But so I believe this was where we left off.
Paul, what section would you like to start with then? Or we turn to?
I think we're right here at section 3-5, voting methods.
Okay. All yours, sir. We'll start with 3.5. Or 3-5, excuse me.
So what I had done is I had pulled in, just to clarify what we're viewing now. So I had pulled in, right, the proposed sections.
Yep.
Right, so we pulled in
Got it. That's-
proposed section 3.5. So then there was an existing 3.5 voting methods. So now that becomes 3.6. And I think,
Okay.
so now there's two 3.6s right now, right? So we have this 3.6 followed by the proposed revised section 3.6. I'm not sure how. So should we just jump to the proposed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because this is all new content that we hadn't discussed previously, and so we should take off with the latest draft that Dave had sent us for discussion. And so that would be this right here. Okay. Town meeting voting methods. And I guess one clarifying question for David was, I had seen in the draft the charter that Orange just passed, a reference to the town meeting times. And they had incorporated in their charter the town meeting times, which was a kind of a document about how to facilitate, the rules and orders of the town meeting. And they referenced their procedures in their charter, which I thought was interesting, and took a lot of some of this procedural stuff out.
Okay, I'm not sure. We're talking about two different types of town meetings. One is the annual town meeting, and then there's a special town meeting. There are statutes relating to both. There is a town bylaw in Paxton about the annual town meeting. So as far as the time is concerned, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's in the town bylaw.
Right.
As is the first Monday in the month. So we can't do anything with that unless we want to have a bylaw change.
Right, but I was more about like some of the procedural things about casting votes and checking in, or the clicker, just some of the things that were bogged down in in the minutia. Is it actually required for us in the charter to get to that level of detail, or can we reference some of these other established documents that are out there to help towns with that?
Well, I can tell you quite frankly that the reason why I put anything into a proposed section is because there is confusion. And if we're going to send people to statutes, that's basically telling them that they got to go and, look at a law book or something like that. So if I put something in here, I think it's because I think it's something that people at town meeting would like to know, and they'd like to go to the one place to see it. That being said, yeah, I'm sure people all know that they've stood up and, been counted, or they've raised their hands and been counted, or whatever. But I think the problem is when they can be counted and when they can't be counted, or how they can be counted, or what their rights to contest a declaration by the town manager, town meeting, town moderator. We would never contest anything from the town manager. But, I think those are necessary. So if you're asking me, should we delineate what a voice vote is and what a show of hands is, those are the voting methods. I think because we're at the cutting edge with clickers that we should talk about them, specifically because a clicker is de facto is a vote that's somewhat disfavored in history, because it is not one where it's not an obvious as to who's voting yes or no. Everybody has a secret ballot when they use a clicker, which I think is great in this day and age, but the bottom line is, if you go historically, not having to be in public domain and seeing, that's the standing up and the yay and nays and all that. So I don't know if that helps you or not, but yes, we can have this. I think we should have it. If you think not and everybody agrees, we can take it out. But I would suggest that it's necessary or appropriate or helpful.
Okay. So shall we just go through this and wordsmith, or if there's any
You are
questions about content?
the moderator here, sir.
Subject to, so we'll just start right here. Subject to this charter, any applicable bylaws or majority vote of the town meeting voters, the moderator shall decide the method of voting on any or all questions from the following options.
The only feedback I had on this section is why we had the word alternating.
Alternating show of hands?
Mm-hmm.
That means like somebody does yes, and then the alternate to those who say no. I mean, we can get rid of all of those if you want. Just say clickers, but then what happens if Rutland doesn't give us the clicker?
No, I think that she just didn't know the word alternating.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we needed it. Like, could we just go into, these are the options, voice roll call votes where, blah, blah, show of hands whereby, and just remove the word alternating. I just felt
Okay.
like it was a word that wasn't needed.
Okay, if you want to get rid of alternating, I don't have any issue
Yeah,
with that.
I think I like the options, just
Okay.
for clarity of what exists for people.
I have no problem with that, if you want to get rid of alternating, if everybody agrees, or whatever.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
Great.
Just get right to the point.
I mean, I think the moderator, we have, especially the moderator that we have, is schooled enough and knows enough that he knows what he's going to instruct people, how the voting is going to be done. He's not going to have everybody standing up at one time saying I'm for or against.
Okay, is that enough? Is that too many voting methods? Is that we're comfortable with all these options?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about our methods?
No, I think it's good from my
Great.
standpoint.
3.7, electronic voting provisions. Any change of content to the first paragraph? Well, and I guess this is our current system. Is that fair to say?
The 25.
Just the use of electronic voting system. Could we say the clickers is an electronic?
That is not, it's our current system, but it's not saying it's the primary method. This would change it to being that if we have the default town meeting will be by electronic voting, but if it's not available to us, that's sort of like to encourage the town to apply, just like Rutland did, and get the money so that we can have clickers, a grant for clickers, and then we can lend them out to OCAM and.
So you're saying that we're declaring that our preference is that all meetings use the electronic.
Your options are one,
Okay.
this, and if not this, then.
Okay, this is going to throw a wrench in it, but if that's the case, I think we need to be clear that we say that the moderator's preference will always be the use of the electronic voting system unless not available or something like that.
It gives the moderator the power to decide. I'm not taking it away from the moderator, but if the moderator decides that EVS will be the primary method, then that will be it. And the only way of getting back to any of the other versions is for 25 or more registered
Yeah.
voters.
But I think it's lost in here. It's this,
So
and I would put that first, and then I'd
Right,
put the
I agree.
alternative voting methods are
Exactly. This
these.
should be come first, and then the alternatives should be listed after this. So this should really be 3.6.
3.6.
I would
And it
suggest.
could say
Well, it could just change it.
preferred voting method, electronic voting provisions, or electronic voting.
Okay, so you don't have to move it to any place, you could just put you could just say basically that preferred voting, and then,
I
okay,
still think it makes sense to start with this. Why have someone read through a bunch of options that aren't the preferred thing before getting to the preferred thing? Start with the preferred thing, and then if they want to read about the details of the alternatives, they can do that. But start with the way we want to.
okay. If you agree, again, don't let me draw an EVS down
Yeah,
you.
or
No,
to ease it, you
I
could
think
say, at the moderator has the discretion to decide which voting method should be used, but it is preferred
Okay.
that all meetings, the moderator has the discretion to decide.
You may take that away from him and say that the way it's here's now, there is no preferred. The moderator has a discretion. You might, if you want it to be the preferred, you'd say the moderator shall, so that's the question. Do you want to make it, tell the moderator what to do? You want to give the moderator and obviously there has to be a fallback if the clickers don't work or we
Sure.
don't have the clickers.
Okay, then,
So, question. So we've identified A through G of all the possibilities. Now we're identifying what our preferred method
Oh, well,
is.
actually, G, isn't G, what's the difference between G
that is,
and?
Yeah, so
that's-
my comment is, why do we even need that paragraph at all?
Sure.
Which
Since we've
paragraph?
identified, the moderator has the discretion, we've already identified the possibilities. He can choose whichever one he wants to, and then 25 other residents can say,
I want E.
I want something else.
yeah.
Okay, and then keep going down because there's more to it than just that.
Okay.
There's the privacy notification. So however you want to do it, EVS is available, that the moderator can decide, but if the moderator decides, then the town meeting members have these rights.
So I'm suggesting
Yeah.
you take out the heading that says proposed section 3.7, take out that first paragraph for a moment. Then the paragraph before continues with saying if requested by 25 or more, then they can go back to another one, what they have above, and then we keep the rest of it the same.
But you lost the part which
What-
says that you have to do it for everyone. If the moderator declares, you've taken out the paragraph that says all, you're allowing for the possibility of having mixed. Moderator can say, okay, on this one, we're going to have a clicker, and this one, we're going to have standing up, and,
Unless you start voting methods with G, and say preferred. That all meetings start with the use of a handheld electronic voting system, and then all that stuff. And then underneath say alternative voting methods where appropriate, colon, and then list the other options.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're just making GA then, right?
Yeah, that's our, and put preferred, like bold it or something, that this is the preferred method. Because I think you're trying to highlight the importance of we should have that, right?
I mean, let's face it, it's faster.
Yeah, I mean, there's,
Yeah, there's so many
It's
reasons.
faster, it's
Yeah.
less, there's less,
Yeah, and I don't disagree
room
with
for
that, but
error. Right,
I
it's
think it
more
should be
orderly,
first.
It's less shouting and, just out one
It's
another.
fair.
and then you get the whole point, somebody says, well, I don't think they shouted enough
it's
nays, so now we.
No, it's not gone. It's just
Have I lost you?
My screen's frozen. My
Oh.
computer's frozen. No, it doesn't. We lose now.
I'm going to suggest, because this is a little bit of a complicated thing, that we don't vote, to review it. What we do is we get a version of this all printed out with any changes and discussion that we have, and then we look at it again with the changes all put together here before we even decide whether or not to review and accept, okay? If that's all right with everybody. So that would go, once we get through this, because I'm confused a little bit about what's there and what isn't there anymore.
All right. So now, what do we want to do? We want to move this part of this to the top of that section.
Go back up to the top. I think we just need, okay. Subject to this charter, any applicable bylaws or majority vote of the town meeting voters, the moderator shall utilize the electronic voting method as preference.
Yes.
We're having computer issues.
You dead in the water over there?
No, I'm afraid it's all.
As we're
bunch of
talking about
users on the roof
technology,
here.
technology fails.
I don't know what we would do if Chuck was not the person that would.
I might have too many windows open. Hang on. What am I doing again?
The moderator, the moderator
So decide utilize.
shall utilize. Here, I'll write it. Just so we don't lose it.
Do you want to give the moderator the power to decide, or you want to tell them to use this? Shall utilize shall decide, or shall.
Well, unless not available, is that kind of our, unless
Okay.
that would be the reason we wouldn't,
Okay. You could just do it,
or technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm having technical issues. Close some things and see.
St. Patrick's Day is on.
Is your keyboard locked?
Yeah, it seems like it. Okay, no, it's not. All right, this isn't coming back. Let me.
Can you type in an email and send me the OneDrive link, and then I'll do it?
Just refresh and see if that helps.
I apologize for these amendments to an existing thing, because that's what's causing all this aggravation. That's why I said last time that
I got it.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
so
so I wrote it down. So the moderator shall utilize the electronic voting provisions,
parentheses EVS,
okay? And then parentheses, you can, or system, electronic voting system, yeah?
Yeah, I think we changed the word provision to system.
Yeah, that makes more sense. To decide, okay, to conduct voting. And then when or where not available, these other options can be considered. Or,
Well, the moderator shall,
or to be super clear, when the EVS is not available.
for any reason.
Yep. The following voting methods would be appropriate.
Any of the following.
Unless you took it and hit it, Dave. Then,
Yep.
Then
The following voting would be would be options. Is that right? Yep, and then delete the rest of that, yep.
Acceptable options would, or,
And then
We
you
take-
could,
Do we take out G?
yeah.
yeah, but you might want to say, just to define, unless we put that in the glossary, add electronic voting system to the glossary so that we know that it's a keypad by which each town meeting voter presses buttons labeled yes or no.
You know, it's still new enough that some people don't know what.
They might not. Mhm. Yep,
So do we,
So I think you want to just make a note to
Yeah.
delete from section, but add the
Yep.
glossary.
Okay.
yep,
definition of EVS?
yep.
Do you need to insert a comment there, or you got it? You're just gonna highlight it?
I'm just gonna highlight it.
Okay.
There's been so many like comment, I'm not sure how the editing is working in this right now.
And then I don't think we need section 7.
We don't need the first paragraph at least. We've got to see
Okay,
what the
we might
rest of
need
it
to change
says.
the header, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna delete all this.
I
Oh,
would
not
delete the
yet.
first paragraph only for a moment until we get down.
Oh, you deleted too many. Right? Do you need the 7 in there?
I don't know if we're doing that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it all becomes Article 6 now,
Okay.
right?
If requested by,
I think the one with the 25 stays. It gives the voters the option, right?
yeah.
So that
Yes.
stays.
right.
Yep. And then you could
You have
add,
your privacy piece.
you could add that privacy piece to go in the glossary with EVS. Because it's about the E EVS.
Yeah.
Interesting, add this to the glossary.
Okay.
All right.
All right, but how does this part fit in?
You know, like a subsection, you mean?
Yeah, so,
I think it's just there.
okay.
Just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the end of the article, right?
Yeah.
It's the end of 3.5, or that one's 3.6.
You could say any of the other listed voting methods. I mean, the thing is, you want it to be, you don't want to have a hybrid where you have town meeting with multiple. It's got to be, so, I mean, this is all to be decided at the beginning before you take the first vote.
But this implies it can be hybrid, though.
I'm sorry?
This paragraph indicates it can be hybrid.
if requested.
Yeah, see, that's,
Yeah, only if.
If requested by 20, that should be at the, that should be something that is, say, it comes up as, the town moderator shall announce the method of voting, okay? And then if he requests something else, you know, the town, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't think you have to change it.
Yeah, I think.
I think that's the way it is.
Yeah, I would say
I think
leave
the
it.
reality is, the way things have gone, it works out a certain way, and if something goes on with a certain vote, someone's going to say, I'm not sure about this, and they're going to change it.
Yeah.
So, that's fine.
Yep.
And are you good with the town of us saying electronic is the preferred method?
Yeah,
Because that's what it is now, right? Or-
Yeah, when we can, we get the
Yeah.
clickers, because that is the
Yeah.
preferred method for everyone.
Okay.
We just have to get one of those grants from somebody that are out there. We only had a grant writer.
I know.
Next page.
So now this
Town
is
meeting,
3.6, so this would be 3.7.
town meeting types is the next section.
Yeah, that's the annual and special.
Anyone want to propose a new town meeting type? He just throw
You notice that the law is different between the two.
All right, annual town meetings.
I do have a question on annual town meeting and special town meetings, okay? Well, special town meetings.
What is your question?
Okay, special town meetings shall also be called on the petition of no less than 200 registered town voters or 20% of the total registered voters, whichever is lesser. That is the current situation. Are we comfortable with having no less than 200 registered town voters to be the amount of people necessary to call a special town meeting? Are we happy with 200, or do we want to make it bigger, or do we want to make it lesser?
For some reason, I thought we had this conversation.
You did.
We did. It's in the glossary. I just want to make sure we're using the same language. That was my question.
Yeah, I thought we had that.
Because we debated on that exact thing already.
Yeah. It just comes up.
I'm trying to find one.
Have we decided, because my notes, well, my
Yeah,
recollection
I
is,
actually thought I said that I had to do that. And if
Yeah.
I had to do it, then someone else should have to do it too. So,
I mean, a glossary is something that's flexible. I mean, and this is starting to argue more for having the first pass at the end of
Exactly.
the effort. Then
That's exactly right.
never let it be said that I'm stuck.
No, I don't think that's, it's in the
Like we did.
glossary.
it's
We have-
some-
Can you go up a little bit more, Chuck? Maybe. Keep going. Oh, no. I saw the.
It'd be town meeting quorum, but I think the only quorum we've defined is the one that has to be present.
No, but I think we discussed it in the context of this article.
Yeah. So I think the question is,
Do you want to go to the, they're both in here? It wasn't notes on the other version, Chuck, but you did merge them.
I believe I did. Let me confirm that. Yeah, no, that was it.
Yeah, okay.
So I think we've dealt with all the revisions, the proposed revisions, and I think moving forward, it's just back to the original.
Yep. Great.
so do we have,
Okay, so then what did we decide on our last discussion with this then?
I think we decided to keep it at 200 because we want it to be a burden, right? Because a town meeting is a significant expense. There's a lot to it. So I don't think we should lower it.
everybody agree on that?
yeah.
Just think for a second why a community might want to require a special town meeting. Okay, the town meeting is the primary exercise of legislative power. It's the way that townspeople have the ability to make government do something that they want to do. Okay, So if.
So what are you arguing? Are you arguing?
Well,
to
I'm
change
just,
it?
no, I'm not arguing to change it. I just want to make sure that we understand the reasoning why someone might want it to be less, why you might want it to be less. Is there a circumstance that you can think of where, 200, that's a burden to get 200 people to make the select board do something?
And it should be a little bit of a burden.
Yeah, right. Well, we only have 50 people, which is less than, that's 3 or 4% of the voting population, but now we've got 200 people are the ones that it takes more, it takes, 200 is a lot more than the normal quorum for a town meeting. So does anybody think that
Well,
advocates?
there was a neighboring town where they called a special meeting because there was a subdivision and they wanted to accept the road and to be, maintained by the town. And rather, the developer didn't meet the schedule for the annual town meeting, and so then they just decided to call a special town meeting, when they were ready on their own schedule. And so they were able to get enough people together to do it, and it did cost the town more money to do that election. So that's an
Well, it's the
example.
town's money, right? That was Rutland, wasn't it?
I don't want to call out any other of our neighboring towns, but, that's just an example of why
It's a very
you would
quick
want
town meeting, I'll tell you that.
why a higher threshold, again, to prevent the expense and the burden to the town of having
Thank you.
something that could be done on a timely schedule versus a special.
Okay. But so 200 is a number that everybody's comfortable with?
I think so, because they can also try to convince the select board, right? Because the select board can declare a special town meeting. So that's one option. Your first option is try to convince the select board to, majority vote for this. If you
And then
can't
the
do
next
that-
step is, but this is the mechanism where the select board shall. You can
Right.
always ask them to do it, but they can say no. If you want them to make them do it, you have to have 200 people right now, or 20%.
I'm hearing we're good on the numbers.
I think we're good on
I think
the
it's on the
numbers.
town to advertise it. We need that number of people and why.
Okay.
Great. Any other comments about the annual town meeting language?
Quick question. Does executive session count as a town meeting type? Because it's not town meeting, right? That's
There's no
different.
such thing as an executive session.
Okay.
Town meeting.
Okay.
Executive session is only something for the executive branch.
Okay.
Town meeting's the legislative.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean they can't be backroom deals.
I'm just making sure we have all the
No,
things accounted for.
I'll vote yes on this if you.
Any change to the special town meeting language?
No.
Okay. Section 3-7. And are we,
8, no.
Eight.
oh, actually, the 3-8.
Yep.
Quorum. And this we have identified, or this was it's part of our definition?
It's part of our glossary.
Right.
Yep.
So, and they agree with each other?
And then again, the only question I would raise is, how do you feel about 50? Is that a number that's too big, too small, whatever?
I think we just did the Goldilocks. It's just right.
I'm sorry, what?
We're good. It's just right.
Just right.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm going to recommend to you is that the town administrator becomes a ex officio member and has the power of voting under certain circumstances. He's practicing.
So do we need it in both spots if we have town meeting
That's what I'm
quorum?
wondering. Like, could we just say
Right.
see glossary?
Well, let's
Or just take it out?
just take it out.
I'm sorry, take what out?
This is already, it's repetitive. It's in the glossary as well as here.
Would you remove it from the glossary or remove it?
No, we remove it from the glossary. This is where you put it because you can't, the glossary isn't something that it doesn't have a power. The glossary
Then
is
let's
just,
take it from the glossary and leave it in the,
so leave that
In
right
the
there.
actual document?
yeah, then leave it in the actual document.
And we don't use that language anywhere else where we need to clarify what that means.
Okay, but keep in mind what happens if the glossary has the provision there, what happens if you have 50 people, but then 25 of them go away, you got to stop the meeting.
We'll add that into the.
Okay,
main
so then make sure you cut that out of the glossary and put it in the town meeting quorum.
Well, if that's, yeah, and that's where it should be. If it's a procedural item, it should be in the main body and not in the glossary.
So we have
Which
it
it says in
Is
here.
it
it says-
redundant though? Is it?
Yes.
Yes,
You have it
so
already.
we're,
It's here.
Yeah.
So you want it to stay there?
Can you put falls below 50? Or is it should-
Well, it says a smaller number than the established quorum. Your quorum is 50, so therefore anything below 50 is going to be,
right.
I like how it's worded, though, in the one that you have highlighted. And you could add 50. If the number present falls below 50,
Well, you gotta be careful when you put a definite number in there.
oh, because that may not be the,
Well, but we're saying if quorum is 50 people.
Yep.
We've put a definite number.
So you would say, rather than saying it falls below that number being the number above. So that's the way it's okay. As a matter of statutory drafting, it works. But if you,
Okay. Everyone good with that edit?
all good?
Next section. 3-9, town meeting. Just, I guess, a time check. We didn't actually, I think we were scheduled for an hour on the meeting invite was an hour, so
You can't-
how are we?
Meeting invites have to be open-ended. You don't want to put an ending on it. Just so you know, we can go over if you want, but if you put an end time on it, we have to adhere to that.
Well, the meeting was scheduled for an hour.
Okay.
So-
You want to stop or you want to go on?
Well, you just said we had to stop.
Unless we make a vote to
Well,
continue.
where was, so I think, I'm curious about this. So in the calendar, Google Calendar, you have to put an end time. You can't just have a start time. But does that have any, that's not really published anywhere, right? That's.
Right, that was our-
I think it goes by the.
Yeah.
That's why you'll note that when I do the meeting notice, which is the official thing, I do not put an end time.
Right, and that's what we go by, right? So I put an end time in the calendar because there has to be an end time.
Sure.
Like, because of Google. But that's not like, I don't think that's shared with the public, so I think.
Google does not control us. So if you want to go on, or we have reached the time, if you want to go on, or if you want to stop, we can stop here. It's what everybody wants to do.
How many more sections do we have in
Yeah,
this?
that's what I'm wondering,
It looks like we still have
You have a good chunk.
Well, there's
Good
some
chunk, yeah,
recommendations
so-
in here as well.
We have 3.8,
Research.
3.9, presiding officers.
goes up to 16.
Yeah, we have a little bit, I mean, the recommendation part is the one that's we have to talk about a little bit. We could get through a few, but I don't think we'll finish 3.8, even if we go for another half hour.
I propose 15 minutes, where we
Okay.
see what we can push
Okay.
through for 15 minutes. What do people think?
Sure.
Anybody object to?
Sounds good.
Nothing, no objection being heard, we shall proceed.
So 3-9, town,
Do we do town meeting authority and conduct? Which I-
that's what we're.
That's what we're doing now, that's 3.9, okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure I was on them.
By this charter, town meeting voters, under the parameters set by the town moderator. This is a mouthful.
Wait a minute, what is it?
I think that we have discussed this in the past, and I think we put that in because of concerns Gary had raised about we can't give the voters carte blanche to change any rules.
yes, because
Yes.
we had reviewed all this previously and then had to go back when we got the updated
Yes.
version. So I think we did go through that, yeah.
So that's why that's in there. I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's not a mouthful.
have gone
but
through
that's why
this.
it's in there, so we can try to wordsmith it and.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on
Well,
a second.
do we need to buy this charter? I mean, even.
Well, the charter is where you get this is where the chart, when ever you see buy this charter, it means the charter is the one that's giving you this right. The only problem is, by this charter, the town meeting shall govern the conduct of annual blah, 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 blah. But if you say, by this charter, town meeting voters, under the parameters set by the town moderator, shall be empowered, the whole purpose of having that section there empowers to establish, amend, revise, or repeal any rules, regulations, or procedures. You're saying the town moderator can veto any votes of the town meeting to do something. So if the town moderator, the voters say, I want to modify this, and the town moderator says no, well, if, as it says right there, well, then that's the end of it. And the town meeting does not have the right to make the town moderator do something. And again, keep in mind, the primary force here is not the moderator. The moderator is exactly that. He's a moderator. The town meeting is the legislative branch. They're the ones that have the ability to make the town moderator do something as long as it's within the laws or the charter.
So what are you proposing? What are you saying?
Well, I think we need to discuss that, and that's, I think, where we really left off here. Town meeting voters shall be empowered. If you want to get rid of the shall, you can say may. All right? Establish, amend, revise, or appeal any rules, regulations, procedures governing the conduct.
The issue that we had was in the next section, the first line, they shall regulate all proceedings, decide all questions of order. And so the conflict was, if we were giving all that back to the voters, which I understand what you're saying, then the moderator has he can't also regulate all of their proceedings. How do you do both in terms of the language? That was the problem that we had.
Okay, but the situation is this. The meeting opens. The town moderator at that point has the power to preside over annual and special town meetings, to regulate the proceedings. That means to say, we'll have 5 minutes of discussion, or we'll have 10 minutes of discussion, or 2 minutes, or whatever. Decide questions of order. That means if somebody makes a motion to amend, he can decide if it's out of order or within order, and publicly declare the results of all those votes. Okay? That is regulating the conduct of the meeting. Amending, establishing, or repeal rules, regulations, or procedures is not presiding over the town meeting. These are procedures like, they're two different things, really. And maybe we need to make something that distinguishes clearly that the amendment, revision, or repeal of rules, regulations, procedures governing the conduct, that's not implementing them. That's saying that, town meeting wants 5 minute, doesn't want. Let me think of the easiest thing.
So
move the question. Move the question is the big one, okay? Move the question, if it's voted by majority, shuts off all debate. Okay? That's parliamentary procedure. Okay? So if the town moderator has no option to move the question other than to take the vote and announce the results of the vote. If the vote passes, then no more discussion, and now you have to vote on it. Okay? So the town moderator, you can't do anything other than what the voters want. But you can regulate the meeting, so if the voters don't say, move the question, then the town moderator can say everybody can talk 2 minutes, or everybody can talk 5 minutes, or everybody can talk 10 minutes. Or the voters can say, town moderator, we want to give everybody 10 minutes, which would be ridiculous because we'd never get out of the town meeting. But you see what I'm saying?
Did we talk about the role of the town moderator in above Section 3?
We're kind of doing it right here, right now.
No, I know, but is there not a specific section on town moderator? I feel like we talked about this before and did a lot of editing. humor me for 1 second.
We're kind of doing town moderator and town meeting right together. The only other,
It got merged.
Okay, yep, okay.
the only other place we'll talk about town moderators in the elections and, you know, how he gets elected and the, you know, an assistant town moderator or whatever, deputy town moderator, things like that.
So
You know-
would this be a good example of one that we put a pin in and come back to later?
Yep.
Or after the first pass?
Yeah, because our biggest fear was we didn't want the town to usurp what the moderator could do. And that was our biggest issue.
That's why you put the parameters in there.
Yeah.
So that,
I feel like we talked about this at great length, but I don't remember what section it was.
Well, we didn't resolve it, though.
We didn't resolve it. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean,
Okay.
the easiest way to do it is to say the town moderator shall have the following powers. Bing, 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 bing. But where there's a conflict,
See, so the issue that I have is simply the moderator shall regulate all proceedings,
right,
and then the phrase that the voters shall be empowered to amend, revise, appeal any rules, regulations, or procedures governing the conduct. It seems like there's a conflict there, just in those two phrases. I don't know how the moderator can regulate the proceedings and then still be overruled at the same time. So he may establish as a proceeding, you can overrule me.
that's,
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
He can establish that, but
But
that's...
you can't modify something until the moderator does it. In other words, and then it's not ex post facto, it's going forward, it's not going afterwards. If the moderator makes an announcement, I'm going to do this, this is how I'm going to regulate the meeting. I'm only going to let people wearing orange shirts, okay? And the town meeting doesn't say anything, then he can regulate it that way. But if somebody says, wait a minute, that's unconstitutional, then that's the town meeting members appealing or changing. The word regulate may be what's giving you the
Well,
concern.
the problem, sincerely, by the charter, town meeting voters shall be empowered to establish, amend, revise, or appeal any rule, regulation, or procedure governing the conduct. The town moderator shall regulate all proceedings, decide all questions of order, and publicly declare the results of all votes. It sounds similar.
what if you replace regulate with establish? Does that help or no? Just building off of what Dave just said, that it needs to be implemented first, and then it can be revised.
So
If
in the paragraph under section 3.9, proposed in 310, the second line, the moderator shall establish?
Yeah, instead of regulate. Does that help at all, or no?
One
I
line
think it
down.
does, because the moderator, I mean, we can put in there somewhere if you want.
The one line down said the moderator shall regulate, and said the word, he's suggesting the word established.
And what's the vehicle, like, so we have a vehicle for if there's a voice vote, and people don't agree with what the moderator says, there's a vehicle, 7 people stand up and challenge the voice vote. Do we need to establish a vehicle, like, how do they do that? Do we
How
have
do
to
they
establish
stand
a
up?
vehicle for it?
I'm sorry. They must immediately make, 7 people must immediately, you can't wait till the end and then say, wait a minute, I want to go back to that. They have to meet, if the moderator makes the announcement, 7 people have to stand up and say, no, we object. And he goes,
Right,
1,
right.
2, 3, 4, 5. and-
So, but my point is that there's a vehicle for people to challenge the voice vote.
Yes.
What's the vehicle, like, how are they empowered to do this, right? So
They
there's
would-
a rule they want to change, what do?
They stand up and well, again, the rules, think about this, okay? The moderator opens the meeting. That establishes the rules for that meeting. Somebody gets up and says, I don't want that to be there. The voters pass a law, a bylaw, right? That doesn't apply ex post facto, it applies going forward. So it's the next town meeting that rule It doesn't interfere with the moderator's ability to regulate or do the meeting or whatever. The rules are established for the meeting, and then if they change the rules as they exist, that becomes effective for the next town meeting, not the current town meeting. So when you're
So that's not clear to me.
No, I was going to say that I feel like you need a paragraph that says,
For
if-
subsequent town meeting.
yeah,
Well, then, okay.
if participants challenge or if participants are want to change however the moderator is doing something, this
How about
is
if we,
the next
do
step.
this? Shall be empowered to establish, amend, revise, or appeal any rules, regulations, procedures. How about govern the conduct of subsequent annual, see the word subsequent?
Yeah, I
That
just
mean-
added that. I just put that in.
Yeah, so that's exactly what, I was going to say future, but,
Future, should we put future?
well, of subsequent, yeah.
So you're saying, in terms of the process, that the moderator is going to do what he or she has to do, and if the voters decide that they want to have something different, it's not going to impact the balance of that meeting, it will impact a future meeting?
All future meetings.
Whoa,
That's a big one.
that's big.
Okay, I'm just sitting here a little bit astounded.
Okay, because
It seems like it's such a dramatic shift away from the moderator's duties, and that a group of people at a town meeting is going to decide how the future of all future town meetings are going to be.
But the duties of the town moderator are defined originally by, okay.
They don't need a
Gary,
quorum
let
to
me-
vote on
let
that?
me- Let me make it a little easier, okay? What are the duties of a town moderator? A, B, and C. Those are the duties of a town. Where do those come from? They come from the town meeting. The town meeting selects a moderator, all right, by way of a voter. The town moderator, if that moderator is not available, the town meeting will come up with another moderator from their, the town meeting is what creates the moderator.
I thought it was an elected position.
I'm sorry?
I thought it was an elected position.
It is.
It's elected at the ballot box, though, right? It's not elected at
Well,
town
how do you
meeting.
think positions get to be elected? And we'll see that shortly. How do you think the elected or appointed? The people decide whether it's an elected position or, all right? In essence-
Currently, the town moderator is an elected position?
Yeah, if you want to make it, if you want to make it an appointed. But a deputy town moderator, if a town moderator isn't available,
Yeah.
he's sick, the town meeting votes a new town moderator to act for that meeting, or can do that. We haven't gotten to that.
What can we decide on tonight to wrap, or are we,
Is there a job description for the town moderator that we must abide by?
No, not that we must abide by.
No?
I mean, it's like the idea of this is how it's been done.
well, it goes
No,
back
I'm
to
just
this- there's
asking
the
for
town
clarity.
meeting. So the town meeting times, which is this other document I referenced before, is a publication of a guidebook, a guide to help facilitate,
Right.
So that
Exactly.
is, it's put out Massachusetts Moderators Association, and again, it's a whole, delves into all these specific issues, and again, it has a lot of professionals, moderators that are, this is their job, is to sort out the
So
minutiae of
this
these
is, this
things.
is
And so
moderators, this
I
is
think that it would be good to rely on the expertise of them,
Well,
and
why
what
do-
they've thought of.
Paul, why
as opposed to
are
us
we
reinventing the.
why, and I'm not arguing, but I'm saying there are three other publications equally as renowned. The moderator's handbook is done by a group of moderators. They don't have power to tell the town meeting what to do.
Right, but we could provide that and say, we consider this a respected, the professionals in the field that decide and have given
And
this
so what happens if-
consideration, and we endorse and
Yeah,
suggest
so,
we
and
abide by
that's
that.
what the moderator does. The moderator conducts it according to the rule, unless and until the town meeting people make him change it.
So why wouldn't we, though? Why would we, as a group of lay people, want to reinvent the wheel that the Massachusetts
Maybe you're not
Moderators
wearing an orange,
Association,
maybe you're not wearing an orange
has already
shirt.
decided? Like, what are we going to provide that they haven't considered, or why
Maybe
wouldn't
you
we?
think the town moderator is
I
said.
don't.
You mean you can't think of any circumstance where the town moderator does something that you wish he didn't do, and you'd want to change it, is what you're saying. So we're going to abdicate our authority and let it go to the Moderators Association, which is a club of moderators.
I'm
like
just
the-
suggesting that this is a great resource, that if we're hung up, we're spinning the wheels
But why
here
did you
for-
pick that one? Did you look at the other three?
Well, because it was referenced, it was in the Orange just passed their charter.
Right,
It
orange.
was 25
Orange.
pages.
One of
which
the
was a
legals,
great-
but how
25
about-
pages, which I think is a great example,
Did you
of
read-
being brief and concise. And they referenced this built into theirs, and they
What
thought
if-
it was a great example.
But if you look at the Groton, you might see somebody else. If you look at Brewster, you might see somebody else reference.
So are you suggesting we review those, and what
I'm
are
not,
you
I'm suggesting we should
shouldn't-
wait a second, we should take it for what it is. If you want to say up there, by this charter, the town moderator shall follow Robert's Rules of Procedure, well, that, you don't have to say that, that's common law. Robert's Rules of Procedure are embodied, all right? But there are multiple versions of Robert's Rules of Procedure. The town moderator's town meeting time, that publication has selected, made an editorial decision, we're going to take and plug that in there. Somebody else in Robert's Rules of Procedure, what you're doing essentially is you're saying, we're going to take and allow the town moderator to do what he does, but what we're saying is, but if the town meeting doesn't want it, they have their statutory and common law right to complain about it. That's all. Otherwise, you're going to take the town moderator's declaration. Why do we have, 7 people can contest?
Complaining about it and changing it are two totally different things.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we get stuck on it.
Yeah.
And it's a dilemma that, this is now, we're getting into theory rather than practice. If you think, and I don't have any problem with Paul's point, if you guys want to say the moderator shall conduct meetings guided by or pursuant to, you pick the one, okay? I don't care which one. Orange isn't known for its I don't know.
So we,
just
I
losing
would hate to
language
think that
how
we're
they
taking
worded
one
it,
town as an
right?
authority, but.
so we can't be the first group ever to have this,
Yeah.
this conflict.
Right.
So,
And we are not the first group to have those actual exact lines.
so I think that we gave it 15 minutes. We're not resolving this right now.
Okay.
I think we tried to regroup, and I will take a look at it as well from my end to see if we come up with any other language that may be easier and without any controversy or conflict, so we can get past this point and move on to the rest of 3 and get on to 4.
I agree.
So for the next time we meet, I will draft something and share it with the group.
And you can share it beforehand.
I will.
The minutes, we'll put the minutes on for the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I
So ordered. Thanks, guys. That worked out pretty good. And I think you're right, Paul. If you want to make sure that we have the